Dosm Rider with you.
Hey YouTube, Dosm Rider here with my Dosm's Top 5, this time Top 5 Worst Power Rangers Themes. Like I say, disclaimer at the beginning of all these videos, this is not a definitive list that I've tried to create through any sort of method. I'm not trying to impose my opinion on anyone. This is what I consider to be my personal Top 5 Worst PR Themes. So yeah, I just want to say that even though there's still going to be people mad thinking I'm trying to make this the rule of law. Okay, so honorable mentions. Now, I mentioned this in my previous worst videos, but honorable mentions for these videos are not usually ones that I think, in some cases they might be, but not ones that I just missed the list. For honorable mentions and worst, I usually use it to talk about ones that either some people would expect me personally to put on my list, or that are kind of one that people would expect to be on any list, and I sort of describe why they're not. So for me, it's Mystic Force. A lot of people hate the Mystic Force theme. It's definitely one of the more different themes, for sure. And it's not one of my favorites, but I don't hate it as much as most people. And it's actually grown on me more as the years have gone on. But I never really hated it. It just kind of went from this is weird to this is okay to it fits the series at the end of the day. And I think I say that because I think the instrumental bits of it really work for the series and fits the tone of it. And there was, I believe, some alternate versions which were better. But a lot of people are going to expect this on this list because it usually makes most people's worst lists. But I personally don't mind it. Another one, especially when you're going to consider how repetitive this list is actually going to be, you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute, is Samurais. Because spoiler alert, a lot of the Neo Saban themes are making it on this list. But Samurais I like the most, even though it's not a favorite, and I don't think they should have recycled MMPR's theme. I like when they have their own identity. Samurais annoys me the least, to be honest, which might be weird, but the way that their instrumental version of the riffs works and the way the lyrics works, while a bit cheesy, just annoys me the absolute least. It's kind of hard to describe. That's probably one that would be like the 6th worst, but I don't hate it, if that makes any sense. Anyway. Now on to the actual 5. So number 5, this is one that makes most people's lists, and kind of like with Overdrive itself, it's one on the list where it's on my list in a way, but I also am willing to defend it in some aspects, and I think it gets a little more hate sometimes than it deserves. But the Overdrive theme is definitely an off-putting one to me. It's one that I've made peace with over the years, but not like Mystic Force where I never kind of hated it. I did always kind of have some level of dislike for the Overdrive theme. It's definitely very odd and obnoxious. I do like some of the lyrics, and I think some of the beats in it that are used for the score and the instrumental work, but it definitely is an off-putting theme. And I just wanted to mention I don't hate it as much as most people who would consider it the worst theme. I don't think it's the worst, considering how we just recycle stuff now, but it's off-putting for damn sure. Okay, number 4, RPMs. As much as I love RPMs, and I don't really hate this theme, it's very basic though. It's just like Power Rangers RPM, we stand together. That's pretty much it. With a very generic beat, and again, I can see bits of its tone and like like instrumental. I use that word a lot, but I mean like the background does fit some of the tone of the series. But that was another one we heard some of the proposed versions, which were much better. I actually prefer, I think, some of the RPM versions, alternates, compared to the Mystic Force alternates we got to hear. But RPMs is just so basic. Again, it's not one like the rehashes or even Overdrives, where I'm like, ugh, when it's on, but it was a pretty weak sauce effort. Yeah, that's for sure. There's not too much else to say there other than, yeah, it was pretty minimal effort there. Number 3, Dino Charge. Now, Dino Charge is one a lot of people like, and I can see why, and I kind of dug it a little at first. And for both Dino Charge and Ninja Steel, I have to respect their effort to at least make it a little bit more unique. Both Dino Charge and Ninja Steel gave themselves more of an identity while mashing with the Go-Go Power Rangers. Certainly more unique than Megaforce and Samurais. But the more I heard Dino Charge, and maybe it has a little to do with my dislike of the series, the more it just kind of grated on me. Like, the way it was sung was so whiny, and a lot of its, like, background beats and instrumental, I always use that word a lot, I'm so sorry, but just didn't work for fights, and there's just something about it that kind of like, it was like the opposite of Mystic Force and Overdrive, where I made my peace with parts of it. Is like, as it goes on, it just kind of annoyed me more. I think this might be one of the more controversial ones on my list, But like I said, I do respect that they tried to give Dino Charge its own identity, and I like that it at least has its own identity more than the previous Saban seasons before that, the Neo Saban seasons. But I'm just still not a fan. Number 2, Ninja Steel. Again, they did try to make this more their own, and I like bits of it. Like they brought in some really like Asian ninja sounding, if that makes any sense, bits, which I kind of liked, but it's weirdly all over the place. Like, I think I would like this more than Dino Charges if it was a little more cohesive. It feels a little choppy, if that makes any sense, and it's like there was different people working on it and singing on it, and it's weird. And the Ninja Rangers Fear No Danger is just so weird. I don't know, there's just something weird about it. Like, there's elements I like, and I could see liking it more than Dino Charge, like I said, but there's just something clunky about it that holds it back. Number 1 is Megaforce's theme. This was especially awful, like, after coming off Samurai's riff, and it would have made more sense if Samurai got its own theme, and then Megaforce and Super Megaforce tried to do an MMPR remix because it was the anniversary, but I think Megaforce's is the worst because Samurai incorporated the Samurai Forever, Dino Charge and Ninja Steel both incorporated even more of their own identity and their own catchphrases, but Megaforce's was just so minimal in what they tried to do to distinguish it both from itself in general and from Samurai's that it just came off of, because it was just basically like going, Mega Force! It's like, what do we do? Let's just like shout the words like they say Amazon. It's just, it was so lazy, and yeah, I felt it. I think all of the Neo Saban songs are pretty lazy, to be honest. And I miss back when we had a unique, 100% unique song for the theme, but nothing hardly to do with the MMPR theme. I miss that. And I think they took some steps in the right direction in some ways recently, but as a whole, I think they're all pretty bad, which is why they dominate most of this list. But just that one, I think, had the least effort put into it to even incorporate its name and phrases into the MMPR theme. So, yeah, that's my list. Again, it's a little bit more of a boring list, I felt, than talking about the top 5s, because, or even some of the other top 5 worst, because it was just dominated by the fact that since Samurai, we've had a pretty bad cycle of opening themes for me. But anyway, that's about it. Next time, look forward to probably Sentai Riders or another surprise video. I'm not sure. We'll see how things go. But until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Dosm Rider, signing out.